Of live locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad live choices going over scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Dino, all the greats. Plus, you got access to our nice little prop shopping tool. We can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus for the best lines at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my bets as soon as I bet them so you can get in before the lines end up moving. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Just threw it into the chat there. We got football this weekend. Lines are out early, so I've got a decent amount of football bet. Got some basketball bets. I was lucky enough to hammer the Miami Lions before they ended up moving too much. So yeah, feeling pretty good about things. But yeah, we got some decent amount of bets here. We'll just go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with basketball, really not a ton so far. There'll be more coming in this afternoon. It's been a rough month so far, but I mean that's mostly just with the early bets. If you've been in the Discord, then you've gotten some decent late game winners. But so we're trying to keep the early bets down to more of a minimum. Look into things more, get some better lines because there hasn't been a ton out there so far early on in the morning. Obviously, with Giannis being ruled out, those lines went down. So there's not any in that game. Jaylen Brown is questionable, so we really don't have any in the Celtics game, except from the Brooklyn side of things. But yeah, it's just kind of how it goes this time of year. We'll go ahead and go right into it. Starting off with Ben Simmons over 8.5 points, minus 108 over at FanDuel. I think that's moved to minus 115. It was just too low of a line with no Durant in there. I know Simmons is a guy that I never really want to rely on too much to score the ball. Obviously, he's been atrocious on the offensive end pretty much all season long, but at this point, he has to contribute more without Durant in the lineup. Mostly, it's been able to have Kyrie or Durant taking pretty much all the usage, but they have Royce, who's a 3-and-D guy, Joe Harris, who's pretty much just shooting threes. They don't really have a ton of other guys that can create a shot, so Ben Simmons is pretty much going to have to drive to the hoop, going to have to put up some more shots. Just kind of how it is. Roll with the over. Max Strus over 15.5 points, coming off a pretty solid game, so you can get this at minus 115 over at FanDuel. Coming off a pretty solid game, should have another one here. No Hero again, no Lowry again. So he's likely to see a decent amount more time, decent amount more usage. I know Bam's back in the lineup, but this line is still too low. Let's see if it's moved. Let's check. Strus, it's moved to minus 124. Still actually like it at that. I don't even hate it. 16.5 at minus 104 or plus 100 over at DK. I'd still end up hitting that. It's just too low of a line here. I'm rolling with the over. Pascal Siakam, over 25.5 points, minus 115 over at Superbook, minus 120 over at Sports Illustrated. I think you can get some similar at PointsBet and MGM. Yeah, PointsBet or MGM, I guess, the only one left at 25.5. This is going to move to 26.5 virtually everywhere. So get it at 25.5 over at MGM if you can. Siakam has hit this at a pretty heavy clip recently. Just played this team a few days ago in Charlotte. Had 28 points in this spot. I'm projected for close to 28 in this spot. It's just an awful line. Next up, Thomas Bryant over 9.5 rebounds, minus 108. Caesars, this is an awful line. He's had double-digit rebounds. I'll just pull up his stats here. Let's see. Bryant. Open a new tab. Rebound numbers, obviously projected from that. Has it 9.5 today. Had 10 in the last one, 14 in the one before that, 13 in the one before that, 9 just missed by the hook in the one before that, 15 in the one before that. No reason this line should be at 9.5. Just go hammer it. I wonder. Always an interesting thing to check is to check the 10 plus rebounds thing over at FanDuel. Occasionally you can get slightly different odds there. Got it minus 108 over at Caesars. I might end up hitting this one again, depending on if the 10 plus rebounds is going to be similar. Minus 160. So the line's already moved to 10.5 over at FanDuel. Wow. Let's see. It's moved here. No, you can still hammer it. Yeah, go hammer it at 9.5 at Caesars. This is just a bad overall line. I'm probably going to double down here. Hold on. I'm going to ping this line again. This is just too good of a line here. There's no reason it should be at 9.5. Absolutely none whatsoever. This is my favorite bet on the board. Let's see if Caesars will let me get any more money down. Caesars has been very, very nice to me recently. Let me get a boatload. After they let me back on, they've been letting me get a boatload of money down. Let's see. 500. Wow. Yep. Let me get more money down on it. Neato. So I just hit it again for 500. In case you're wondering. Wow, that's exciting. Yeah, absolutely my favorite bet on the day. Not even remotely close. Like I said, it's going to move to 10.5 pretty much everywhere. So I'm hammering it. LeBron James over 32.5 points, minus 105 over at Betway, over at DK, minus 102 over at Superbook. Really like this line. LeBron James been solid recently. Gets a good matchup versus the Mavs. 3.5 point spread. I think they played him on Christmas Day, and LeBron had 38. But looking at his game log, 37, 25, 43, 47, 27, 28, 38, 34, 31, 33, 30, 33, 35. Just been absolutely on a tear without AD in that lineup, playing all the minutes he can handle. And that's what we're mostly looking for when betting LeBron is he going to play a full complement of minutes? If he is, then should easily hit the over. Donovan Mitchell, minus 115 to hit over 27.5 points. Give us a Betway DK Superbook. It's just a bad overall line. It should be at 28.5. It's almost always at 28.5. He's been a little bit inconsistent recently at like 48, 22, 21, 71. He's been all over the place, but he's still averaging close to 30 points per game on the season. I really like this over. Again, you can get it at Betway DK Superbook. Let's move on to some football. Got a decent amount of bets here. Not letting me get a ton of money down because it's earlier on in the week, but still, free money is free money. First one, Brock Purdy under 222.5 passing yards, minus 115 at DK, minus 110 over at Betway, minus 115 at 221.5 over at WinBet. I like all of them. This line's going to move to 208 probably by the time game time happens. Rookie quarterback in the playoff, team who loves to run the ball. They have Debo, they have McCaffrey, they have Eli Mitchell back in the lineup. They're going to just absolutely pound the ball going up against the Seahawks. Game script's looking like it should be good. 9.5 point dogs. The Seahawks are 9.5 point dogs, so same for 9.5 point favorites. Low total, 42.5. They're just going to hammer the ball on the ground. So I'm taking the under on Purdy passing yards, taking the under on Purdy rushing yards, 6.5, minus 114 over at FanDuel. And I absolutely love the over on Debo Samuel's rushing yards, minus 13.5, minus 108 at FanDuel. The line is absolutely silly at PointsBet. I think it's sitting at 10.5 over at PointsBet. Yeah, 10.5 minus 115. This line is going to keep moving. It's going to get to 16.5 pretty soon. So go hammer it right now. This is an awful line. Trevor Lawrence under 35.5 passing attempts, minus 118 over at FanDuel. The Chargers, we know that they are a team that you want to run the ball against. The Jags are going to consistently run the ball in this game. They're going to try and not lean on Lawrence as much. He's already hit the under at this at a pretty decent clip over the last 5 games. I'm rolling with the under, and then the over of Herbert, 37.5 pass attempts. This is going to be a fairly high-scoring game. Let's go look. What is the total? I forgot already. So many different things going on right now. Come on, enhance. Total's 47.5, 2.5 point spread. Herbert's going to be tossing the ball a decent amount here. Obviously, with the screen passes and everything, that's kind of an extension of the run game. So he'll get a lot of dump offs, a lot of low A-dot throws. His main deep threat, and Mike Williams may or may not end up playing. I haven't looked into it, but honestly, I'd like this bet regardless. But yeah, I haven't checked Mike Williams' injury update. What is? Yeah, he's still sidelined, so not looking like he's going to play. One of the main deep threats that Herbert has, so a lot more dump offs, a lot more shorter area passes. Gerald Everett, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, going to see an increased workload. I'm rolling with it. Next up, Dawson Knox over 32.5 receiving yards, minus 114 over at FanDuel. Knox should be heavily involved in this game. I know he hasn't been great in recent weeks, but this game it's absolutely going to be more heavily involved. Josh Allen under 51.5 rushing yards, minus 104 over at Caesars. Caesars has a pretty drastic disparity here compared to most other places. Let's see. Josh Allen. Yeah. For minus 115 almost everywhere else, and a few places at 50.5. So pretty drastic disparity. Caesars moved the line a lot. I don't know if a lot of action came out. I don't really know how Caesars really works with their line setting, but I'm guessing I almost all the sharp lines on the under have like a lot of their bets that seem to move, like this one minus 126 on the over. The sharp money on the under. So I have no idea why Caesars has a disparity here, but it happens pretty consistently, as you see with the Thomas Bryant bet. Every other place has moved it to 10.5, and they still have low juice on the over. James Cook under 36.5 rushing yards. Take this if you want. I've been hitting it every week, and I've just been getting slaughtered, but numbers keep saying that. Singletary is going to be more heavily involved. We'll see. Josh Allen over 33.5 passing attempts. Absolutely love this one. Minus 119 over at Caesars. Josh Allen is going to be throwing the ball a decent amount. I know it's Buffalo. I know it's a January game. Let's go ahead and check out the weather. We'll go ahead and give you a sneak peek into Weather Edge here with Kevin Roth. It's over at RG. Great tool. Absolutely rely on Roth. He does a ton of work in this. Yeah. Buffalo, it's going to be close to freezing, but not really windy. Average temperature this time of year. I mean, it's not going to be great weather, but Josh Allen's going to throw the ball 33.5 plus times. I know that they're a heavy favorite, but Buffalo hasn't been running the ball much in games where they're up a ton most of the season, most of the last few years. They're not going to change that in the playoffs. They're going to keep their foot on the pedal. They're going to absolutely blow out Miami here. I'm rolling with the over. Irv Smith Jr. under 16.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at DK, minus 110 at Betway, minus 115 over at Superbook. Love this bet here. Hawkinson is the guy. He's the tight end. Irv Smith, while he was beating this line earlier on in the year, didn't play for a while, finally played last week. Still didn't even get the over at this number. It's Hawkinson, it's Osborne, it's Thielen, it's Jefferson. Irv Smith is not going to be terribly heavily involved, which is why I'm also going with the Hawkinson over 47.5 receiving yards, over 4.5 receptions. You get the receiving yards minus 115 over at Superbook, and I think a few other places. Let's see, Hawkinson, minus 125 over at DK. It's got to be a better line than that. No, I'd go with the minus 114 at 51.5. I'd go with the over 47.5 at minus 115 or minus 125 at DK. I don't care. This is just an absolutely fantastic over here. I currently have them projected for 60 in this spot. I'm rolling the over, and I have them projected for well over 4.5 receptions. Hammer that over. Isaiah Hodgins, over 44.5 receiving yards, minus 115 over at Caesars. Over 3.5 receptions, minus 151 over at Caesars. Guy's been getting just peppered with targets. A lot of game scripts haven't really favored him getting the ball a ton, and he's still been doing pretty well. Absolutely crushed this team a few weeks ago. Had 8 receptions, 12 targets, 89 receiving yards going up against the Vikings. Vikings has the highest pass success rate given up to opposing offenses. One of the worst pass defenses in the league. No, Daniel Jones isn't great, but Hodgins is pretty clearly his favorite target right now. Go hammer the over. Last, both overs. I know minus 151 is not an exciting line, but it's got like a 65% hit rate, so it's still offering you like a 10-15% ROI. Hayden Hurst under 31.5 receiving yards, minus 110 over at Betway, minus 115 at DK and Superbook. Hit this almost every week. He's not going to get there. He's just not going to get there. That's simple. But yeah, that's basically it. Again, guys, go sign up for scoresandodds.com. Get in the Discord. We'll be throwing in more bets throughout the day. Also, go check out Parlay IQ. We'll go ahead and check and see if there's any bets that are really Embiid under on rebounds, may still end up hitting that. I haven't checked earlier today. It's generally a bit more accurate later in the day. I'm just checking to see if there's anything that's Barnes to get a 3-pointer made. I might end up hitting that. I still kind of like that line. I'm gonna look into that a little bit. Well, let's see. I got nothing else going on. Might as well check that out for you guys. I'm just gonna check where the best line's at. There we go. Let's go ahead and look at it. Bucks, not Bucks. Charlotte Raptors. Looking here. Last 104. It's not too bad. That's the best line over at FanDuel. I might end up hitting that later today. Go ahead and check out the Discord. But guys, it's been fun. I'm out of here.